on the topic. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas has warned that the bloc may take action against Israel if conditions in Gaza don't improve. She has outlined 10 options, including trade restrictions, sanctions on Israeli ministers, and an arms embargo after Israel was found to have breached a cooperation agreement on human rights. At a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Brussels, no consensus was reached to take any of these steps, but Kaja Kallas stressed that the options remain on the table. Kallas said the goal is to improve the humanitarian situation, not to punish Israel. The war in Gaza began after Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack. The Hamas-run health ministry says over 58,000 Palestinians have been killed so far. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Professor Rohan Gunaratna. He's an international security expert. Thank you, Professor, for staying with us. How serious are Kaja Kallas's proposed measures, including these trade restrictions and arms embargo, in terms of potential impact on Israel's military as well as diplomatic posture?
I personally believe that Israel has all the right to defend itself, because Israel suffered one of the most devastating attacks, October 7th and 8th, 2023, where 251 Israeli and foreign nationals were taken hostage. And of course, a very large number of Israelis and foreigners were killed in the Hamas-led attack. So it is so important for the international community to first to defend the right of Israelis, of IDF to defend its own citizens. Second is, of course, we have to have a long-term strategic plan to create a two-state solutions where the Palestinians can live in peace. But this business of doing terrorism, of killing, maiming, injuring people, raping people, all of which Hamas did, has to stop. As long as this is a part of the modus operandi of Hamas should have no place to hide. So what should be built globally is that ethic against violence, against political violence, and also against war crimes. Governments themselves have to be very careful in their operations to ensure civilians do not die. But unfortunately, because city beneath Gaza has been created, we have seen it has been very difficult for the IDF to locate the terrorists, to locate their own hostages. So because of that, there has been civilian death. So one should understand the terrain, one should understand the situation on the ground before one takes actions against Israel.
And Professor, what legal and political mechanisms would the EU need to activate in order to impose those sanctions?
I think the European Union has a very good mechanism for assessing threats, assessing risks, and then imposing sanctions, whether it is against any country. So I think that all these governments that are under pressure should work with the EU mechanism, but make sure that national security is preserved for Israel, and also the sanctions mechanism should be effective. Otherwise, these sanctions are not going to be something fruitful and beneficial. But Israel's right to defend itself should not be compromised in any way, because it's a very small country in the Arab world, in the Muslim world, and it is key to preserve their national security, national interests when it comes to taking actions.
Thank you, Professor, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we stay on this topic. Israeli protesters gathered outside